Alright, so I think we are pretty darn close to getting into this boss fight here. Now, in theory, we're going to have Ciri fight the Crones. I do wonder if presumably somebody's headed towards this question mark. Whether it's going to be Ciri or Geralt remains to be seen. But yeah, Ciri theoretically is going to be on her way to fighting the Crones, whereas Geralt will be fighting IMLERITH. It did seem, I didn't actually mean to do that, but it did seem as though it will be possible, or would have been possible, to have Geralt, basically the other thing happen, have Geralt fight the Crones and Ciri do IMLERITH. And I wonder how that might have played out. Geralt tried to suggest that perhaps IMLERITH was going to be more difficult, and I do think that we're probably better off fighting with Geralt, because he has access to potions and other, like oils and whatnot that Ciri does not have access to. So that was kind of logic there, but let's see what this is. We're gonna have to dive down.
I guess I must jump.
Okay. Yeah, and as for whether IMLERITH is actually more powerful than the Crones, that remains to be seen. So, wahoo! Okay. Because we did, back when we were first encountering the Crones in Crookback Bog, we were saying how they, at least in theory, were very powerful. And we were concerned about making enemies with them for that reason. But now I think negotiation is probably off the table. I think it is almost certain. It's got to be like 95% at least certain that this is going to be a fight to the death, right? Hello! Okay.
200 years younger.
Okay, that's cool. Tell you what, now feels like a really good time to save. Just saying. By the way, yeah, actually, talk about Geralt having access to potions and items, whatnot, Ciri not having access to those things. This is the only thing we can do when we pause the game, is check our map. Can't do anything else, and yeah, that's a little bit scary, because that does mean that there's really not much of anything we can do here. Oh, good timing on the save, right? Of course, Ciri perhaps doesn't have the chance to get her full revenge. Okay, well, some of this might get blurred. Because, well, we did, of course, hear way back then that the Crones could change shape.
He lived a life of love and knew no bitterness.
Okay, you know, they're like, you know, eating / drinking blood and the remains of dead people. And they aren't wearing any clothing, in case I wasn't clear. Oh, well, that's lovely. Absolutely lovely. What? Making stuff grow from people's blood? Is that what the heck is happening? Also, one of them is petting the head, a severed head. Hey, ladies. Catch you at a bad time? Alright, now you've gone back to your usual form, or at least the form we're more familiar with you being in. Hey, how's it going?
Welcome, child of the elder blood.
Yeah, they know. They know.
We knew you would return. Your taste lingers on our tongues.
Did they actually get the chance to
You've talked
do
enough.
anything with, you know? Okay, oh, hello. All right. Are we fighting them one at a time here, or not? No, I don't know. Okay, so I have no idea what the deal is going to be with them. They can duck under the water / lava / whatever you want to call it. That does not look good. Let's stay out of the red stuff. Okay, remember, Ciri can regenerate her HP automatically. I'm gonna throw in something else. I have no idea, like, is Brewess any different from Weavess? Any different from... I forget what the name of the last one is. Weavess? Like, we ideally... Ooh, yeah, not split our damage. So, like, that red stuff is totally following us right now. I think we've done the most to attack Brewess, so part of me feels like we should try to hit her. I mean, she's physically the biggest. I don't know if that means that she has the most HP. I have no idea. Sometimes that's a thing. Oh, Okay.
You will die. Here, now.
I'd rather not. Yeah, I can't really do. Ooh, yeah, they're dealing a fair bit of damage. I mean, it's not a ton, but it can add up pretty quickly here. They're getting several hits on us. That red stuff is definitely following us. So I'm just gonna dodge around quite a bit here, deliberately try to not get hit and give ourselves some time to regenerate some of that HP, because we perhaps are going a little too aggressively on the offense. What the heck was that? And I did also just like immediately dash into an attack there. Maybe not the best idea. Is that crow bird thing the type of thing that happens if we do have that red stuff in the water actually touch us? It seems like when they duck underwater like that, that might be what actually initiates that, the red stuff. I think that's what I'm kind of noticing. That might be a coincidence. It might not be. But I think we just need to be a little bit patient here with this fight, because our damage is quite low. Love that. Yeah, so I have no idea if they deal different amounts of damage between them. It seems like it's never Brewis that's going under the water like that. It might only be Vids, which would lead me to believe that perhaps that is actually our highest priority. Not entirely sure, to tell you the truth. But, perhaps something that we're seeing happen here. I think I am seeing that specifically Brewis is stunning us on a few occasions. That might be a thing. But yeah, it's a little bit tough to read the situation, especially when there are so many of them out here. It's like, you know, can't spend too much time focusing on just one of them, otherwise the other ones will do something to you. Like that. We just kind of dashed into that, but I did not dash at all there. That was kind of weird. Game just kind of made us teleport, but I think we're doing okay, because Brewis is almost down. I have no idea if they do anything special when one of them goes down. That could certainly be a thing. You just disappeared when I was going to hit you with no sword. That was not cool. So there's a chance that they get all enraged or something like that once one of them goes down, and Brewis is close. So I think we definitely will try to target her next. Okay, she's down. We'll regret that, you say? So, yeah. One of them seems to be the one that keeps on going underwater. The other one might perhaps be the one creating... Ooh, that's kind of a nasty combo. Might be the one that... Yeah, you're doing all the crow stuff, it seems. The other one keeps on ducking underwater, and then... seems as though... Brewis might have just been attacking, and that's it. We might have gotten rid of the one that was the least risk. In which case, okay. It's a little bit unfortunate, but, you know, what can you do? Should still simplify things a little bit here. Should make it a little bit easier for us to deal damage now and not have to worry as much about dodging out of the way of taking hits. Although, it was comparatively certainly the easiest to avoid Brewis previously. Yeah, I think, yeah, you're the one that keeps on going underwater. You're the one that's doing the crow stuff. I think we've got that part figured out. Not that that really changes too much here. Ooh. Whoa, whoa! What the heck? Like, sneak up on us? Yeah. So yeah, that's, the crows. They're hard to avoid. I don't even know how you do to avoid them. Tell you what, they cover a ton of ground. Like this. How do I avoid that? We're quite low. I mean, we're regenerating perhaps slightly more than we're taking. I'm deliberately just dashing around here still. Ooh, did end up getting hit by that. Which is not good. Anyone even close here? Going down? Ooh, bad time. Bad idea. Very bad idea. I was like, maybe they're low enough that we can just go in and try to take one of them out, because, yeah, okay. I mean, at the end, just got sloppy. At least at the very end, got sloppy. Trying to think strategically what we might do differently. I think the answer is just Brewis. I think we have figured out, I mean, Wispest and Weebest, their names are so similar that I'm not really able to quickly read them and distinguish between the two of them. But I think definitely want to try to target one of those first, and then probably save Brewis for last. Because, I mean, she might have been doing something that I didn't realize was coming from her, but for the most part, it seemed like she was the most straightforward and probably the easiest and least dangerous. So I think, by extension, the safest to keep around. so are we going to go straight into the fight? I think we probably will. Probably will. So be prepared to immediately dash out of the way of Brewis whacking at us. I think that's probably what's about to happen. No, it's not. Okay, well, I mean, oh, this was our last manual save, which was, yeah, like, right before this cutscene. It is a little annoying that we have to go through the cutscene again, but, you know, worst comes worst, we can just skip all the dialogue, because we, of course, have already heard it, and there weren't even any options, so it's not like we can experiment with saying anything else. So can I skip this? Yes. Okay. Can I skip this? Yes. Can I skip this?
We knew you would return. Your taste.
You've talked enough.
Talked enough. Okay. So dash from the. Oh, really? Oh, no, that was. I might have been pressing the sword swing button. That might have been on me. Okay, so ignore Brewis. Try to hit one of them. So yeah, like the crows in particular seemed like they were really hard to avoid. I think that was Wispess. I don't know. Like I said, I really couldn't distinguish between their two names. They both start with W. They're both roughly the same length, which means when you're just glancing at them, primarily focusing on not getting destroyed, you don't really have time to sort of read them in full. Okay, so we did get, yeah, it's Wispess that we've been hitting the most here, but yeah, like, they're the crows. The other one ducking under the water. I think if we had, like, only the water person, then that probably wouldn't be so bad. That's, in theory, I would think, dodgeable. Was that the person we wanted? I think it is. Keep on doing the long distance dash, which is probably not something that I should always be doing. Ooh, I have also not been doing the strong attack, like, at all. But that's one thing when you're with Geralt, and we have a stronger version of the quick attack. So we've upgraded that more than we have the quick attack, but when it comes to Ciri, we've not done that. So in theory, you know, if we have time to fit in one of the strong attacks, then you might as well, right? Okay, that was just kind of silly. Get over here. Okay. I went for an attack when I meant to go for a dodge there. Yeah, Wispess is pretty low. So I like that. That's not stand there. Weebus, yeah, we've done some damage to you. You're definitely... okay, so it does seem like it's the one that's ducking underwater that we've been focusing on here. It is, yeah, I mean, probably second priority. I don't know. I mean, somebody else went underwater there, it seems, so maybe they all can do that. Maybe they all can do everything. I don't know. Please swing your sword. Oh, don't do that. That was me. It did seem like, at least what the damage we're taking from their hits right now is comparatively, seemingly quite low. Compared to what we had at the end there when we were, you know, dying. Please stop dodging things. I really wanted to kill you there. But try not to get greedy, especially given what happened last time. One that we want to get just ducked under. Okay, so now one down. Does that mean their damage is going to go up? Because I feel like it does. But I think we want to target Weebus, who we have dealt more damage to thus far relative to Brewis, so I think that's good. Crows, think, dealt that much damage compared to what we had in the past. Yeah, that is cool. Ciri's strong attack teleports to the other side of them and then wails on them. Looks sweet. Looks like it should deal a ton of damage. Looks like some kind of combo, some fatality, something like that. Okay, that is greedy. Don't hang out in there. Hey, smell you later. Actually want you. Yeah, it seems like the strong attack in some ways is almost like a dodge, or at least really clever. Could function kind of like that. Because, ow, whoa, I did dodge there, but you still hit me. And you dealt a ton of damage in the process. I don't know if we can actually do anything with this. I'm going to try to get a little bit dodgy here, deliberately. So we did take some pretty nasty hits. Don't end up over there. Okay. I did want to hit you. Oh, no, bad timing. Bad timing. Yeah, we did get a reasonable amount of HP back at this stage, though. Strong attack, maybe? I tried to sink one in there, although it didn't really seem like Ciri did it. Okay. Try to go away from... Ugh. The birds, because it seems like if you get enough distance, then they do dissipate enough. Now it's only you. Only Rumes, and it does seem as though you perhaps have some new abilities that you did not previously have, or at least improved abilities. You might have the best melee attacks. Okay, you're still doing the watery stuff. Seems as though that might require that you go all hocus pocus with your hands and basically not be able to do any melee attacks while that's happening. Might help us out a bit. Try to just get in for like a 1-2 combo type of thing. Maybe 3. Nothing more than that, though. It's like that looks like, yeah. I mean, we weren't standing in there for long. Look at the damage right there. A ton. Okay, yeah, it's like, while that's happening, yeah, you kind of need to move your hands around. It doesn't seem like you can do any attacks. Yeah, any of your big crow attack hurts a ton. So I'm just really concerned about taking that hit. No, that's not that one. That one hurts a ton. It's like, even though we have a decent amount of HP here, really don't want to get hit by that. I don't know how bad the water is. So we haven't really gotten hit by it. Even that, we just got one simple whack on us, and that still hurt. Okay. That, back away from. Strong, quick, and Crones down. First try. Not exactly. That's pleasant. Yeah, I was gonna say, something tells me it's not quite that simple. Stole the amulet? What are you gonna do with that? Oh. Okay.
Damn it.
IMLERITH's at the summit. Gotta be.
Okay. Clever transition between the two of them. I did like that, but I do wonder, yeah, what the implications are for Ciri. It does seem as though she has lost her amulet, which, I mean, detects monsters, yes, but have any other practical purposes? Okay, let's save. And so, yeah, I do wonder how that would have been with Geralt. I mean, I think the real challenge there, ooh, that's a place of power. Real challenge there was just that there were numerous of them, and it was hard to avoid the crow attacks. Let's nab that place of power. And I'm not sure, I think
Place
it's...
of power.
Yeah.
Should draw from it.
I think it's actually the other direction where we're looking to go long-term, although, possibly not. Certainly take this, at the very least. Okay. Yeah, what would happen if we went through here with Ciri? Would she still be able to collect the place of power? Would it kind of, like, carry over to Geralt? I don't know. It does mean we have another skill point to spend here, which, if we're expecting another big boss fight, which I think we are, then we perhaps want to be thinking short-term here. Things that we already are committing to having on our bar here. And most of our stuff is fully upgraded. It did go with Razor Focus. We want more of those. Instantly gain 1 adrenaline point when entering combat. That stays the same. We get more adrenaline point generation from attacking with their sword, and more adrenaline point gain overall. I thought we were saying Undying, we actually weren't a huge fan of upgrading that further. Check on the sign side, but I thought, yeah, unless we like increase Igni sign intensity, which I think I was saying this earlier, but I've been pretty underwhelmed with the results from increasing our Igni sign intensity thus far. between getting 3 of these abilities in here and then going with the Griffin School gear, which is giving us additional sign intensity, I would have thought that we'd have a more dramatic difference between before we did all those things and now that we have made all those upgrades, but it hasn't been that noticeable. So that's been a bit of a disappointment, and for that reason, I'm a little bit reluctant to go further in that direction. So part of me feels like, although it doesn't feel like a dramatic upgrade, might even go for another round of Razor Focus here. I don't know. So I feel like, I was saying we want to perhaps focus on the short term, whatever is most helpful for this upcoming boss fight. But in truth, it looks like perhaps we're mostly just prepping for, if it is going to be in the combat side of things, getting ourselves closer to unlocking this last row. How close are we on the sign side? We are a little further away. So, yeah. Is that reason enough? Try to get Igni going here. I don't know. Maybe we give this a shot. Let's do it. Okay. I mean, hearing a ton of monsters here. I don't see them. Let's just check our map. Like, which direction are we technically supposed to be going in? It does look like it's this direction, or maybe this was kind of like a shortcut going across the bridge. I don't know. Just double check what's back here. Just, ignore the fact that we're cross over a rickety old bridge. Like, where's the direction that we came from? Where is the new direction? That's something, clearly. Now I've already lost my bearings a bit here. I don't think this is where we were previously. I think this is basically the alternative direction to the bridge. But even with that being said, it's like it's mostly just a dead end. Not anything over here. So originally I thought this was going to be the way, so to speak. Well, maybe down here. Geralt was saying probably at the summit. And, well, this is obviously down. I am curious. I mean, I suppose there's a chance we might get a mission failed if you, leave the area. And it's like, hey, you were supposed to kill this dude, and then you ran away, so now you're not going to kill this dude. But, I don't know. Black Unicorn, I don't know what that is, but it sounds like that might be good. Oh, no, that's one of the relic swords that we've gotten in the past, I think, that's been at least very valuable. Not necessarily really strong, but where is this leading, just out of curiosity? Just out of Bald Mountain? Yeah, so, I mean, in theory, we'd be able to go back here. Future occasion, I mean, there's a chance. This is just a way. I don't really think we want to go there. Let's save. I'm going to save, and then we'll try going further and see if it gives us a mission failed.
I'm too old to wander the world.
Oh, it's the world's edge? What? Wow. Really? I mean, there are certainly things that are further south than this, including stuff like the road leading up to Bald Mountain. I'm a little surprised that that's what we see here. I was kind of expecting it to... I mean, it's probably better than just being like, hey, well, you ran away, so mission failed, and now, good luck. Probably better than going that route, and that looks like that's probably too high up for us to climb. It was basically just a way of the game saying, like, come on. You know you're not supposed to go in this direction. Get back over there. In which case, alright. Point taken. Point taken. I was just wondering what else we might find. But I think we're good to start heading back in this direction now. Once again, I'm gonna go in this direction. No, that's blocking us. Okay, we'll head up. And I think, based on how quick it was to fight the Crones with Ciri, I'm thinking we're probably not far away from going into that confrontation with IMLERITH. So yeah, I do think that Geralt probably does have better crowd control than Ciri has, so fighting the Crones with Geralt probably would have been easier. I think it probably would have been easier either way with Geralt. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with IMLERITH here. But again, might see something gets blurred. bunch of... Oh, that looks like our guy, I'm guessing. Looks like Wild Hunt armor. Looks like tons and tons of succubi. I've been awaiting arrival. We're gonna have to fight 10 succubi? Someone's like, not now. Hey!
The sisters said you would come. They saw you arrive in the water's surface. They did not see the girl. But she is with you, is she not?
I don't think I want to answer that question. I mean, my guess is you know the answer. If we lie to you, you're gonna see right through it. So this may not mean much, but other thing to note is, I think we heard Geralt say in passing, when we were last talking about tracking down the Wild Hunt, that they are actually elves, but this is certainly the longest period of time we've ever seen one of them without wearing a helmet, and yeah, certainly does look like an elf. And that brings up a ton of questions, of course. Now, way back, dating to The Witcher 1, when we actually fought and killed the King of the Wild Hunt, we'll just ignore that part, you know? That's beside the point for now. But, back then, I remember someone, or there were, maybe this was even The Witcher 2, but people were saying how oftentimes the humans would talk about how, oh, the Wild Hunts, there's this dangerous group of riders that steal people away in the night, and supposedly, the non-humans would dismiss it. They'd say, ah, you're crazy, those things don't exist, what are you talking about? But if they are actually, if the Wild Hunt are actually elves, then that does, perhaps, like I said, raise a bunch of questions. Did the elves here know that and just decided to say, let's not talk about that, let's not bring that up, that's kind of a touchy subject? I don't know. Either way, though, I think we at least try to say that we came alone here, but like I said, I think he's going to see through it.
I'm here alone.
A lie which will change nothing.
Exactly.
First you, then her.
Okay. That is a humongous mace. And shield. So I'm guessing crazy stuns. Okay, hold on. Whoa, you teleport directly behind us. I was gonna say, let's do those things that we were saying we can't do with Ciri. Namely, throwing on things like oils, activating potions, I don't know what else. I mean, we can, of course, eat food, which is probably going to become relevant here, but yeah, based on what we've done when we fought Wild Hunt in the past, I'm expecting, let's just go see if we can find anything in our bestiary, I guess? So I have no idea what category they're going to fall under. They did have a ton of stun in the past, which is tricky. It doesn't sound like that's all that bad, but what happens is, they hit you once, they hit you pretty hard, and then you can't do anything for like a full second, and during that time, they hit you with one or possibly even two combos after that, or two hits after that, and then you go, okay, well, now suddenly I'm almost dead, and I need to dash away and not get hit for a very long time to get some of our HP back. So that could be what we find here, but at least right now, I mean, unless you're relict, the Crones were. That's interesting. Oh, so we could have read up more on them, and again, yeah, like, if we had Geralt, we could have used Quen, we could have used things like Ard to help a bit with crowd control, could have used, I don't know, Igni, lower their defenses, any of a number of things. Yeah, they were relicts. Let's read up a little bit on them, though, because I think we did get an update after defeating them just then. Sister Crones, hand in hand, terrors of the sea and land, thus do go about, thrice to thine and thrice to mine, and thrice again, to make up 9. What? Were there 9 Crones? Certainly only 3 now, or at least 3 that we know of. The isolated corners of our world harbor creatures older than humans, older than the academies and mages, older than even elves and dwarves. Crones of Crookback Bog are such creatures. no one knows their true names, nor what breed of monstrosity they in fact are. Common folk have given these three sisters the names Weaves, Rues, and Wispes, and called the threesome the Ladies of the Wood, or simply the Good Ladies. Crones act as the true sovereigns of Velen, whose inhabitants they help survive through harsh times in return for unquestioning obedience. They wield powerful magic, but one different from that of mages. They draw power from water and earth, and are bound to the land in which they live. Crones can hear everything that happens in their woods, predict the future, twist the threads of human lives, and bring blessings as well as curses. Crones seem, for all intents and purposes, to be immortal. So much for that. Magic elixirs keep them from aging and allow them to take the appearance of young women. Is it really the magic elixirs that did it? I mean, I remember people saying way back in the comments that I think I was asking, like, how old are the mages? And, like, Triss, Yen, and so on. And, because I was wondering, like, relative to Geralt, how old are they? The answer is they are actually quite old, and they take, like, aging potions, and so, you know, it seems a little bit like a cop-out, but at least in the case of the Crones, you would think that, well, whatever creatures they are, I would have assumed are just inherently immortal, but okay, maybe they have their own magic elixirs to make them immortal as well. But, let's see. So, keep them from aging and allow them to take the appearance of young women. These elixirs and their magical ties to the swamps in which they live also give them supernatural strength and vitality. So, at least according to that description, a lot of their power comes from those elixirs that, I mean, in theory, anyone could try to drink and then they could become as powerful as the Crones. Who knows? But the primary reason why we're going through here is because we were looking for entries on the Wild Hunt. Do they count as specters? Doubtful of that, but it's maybe the closest thing. Vampires, I doubt it. Yeah, no, now we're back at the top. I think we might have gotten an update on characters as well. We did hear about Caranthir briefly. This Onel elf, again elf, is one of Eredin's advisors and also, on account of his extraordinary abilities, an important officer of the Wild Hunt. Calling on arcane magic, Caranthir would guide the riders of the hunt along mystic pathways through time and space in order to reach other worlds. Yeah, that's pretty epic. I'd say that probably warrants being, you know, high-ranked officer. He was also a master of more immediate forms of transport, such as the teleportation he made ample use of during the attack on Kaer Morhen. Okay. Did hear briefly about Frangilla Vigo, which, well, you know how I feel about her, but that's not really the question here. Nor is that person that I don't remember, but probably falls under a similar category. Looking for other members of the Wild Hunt here. See what we've learned about them to see if there's anything we can gather about how we want to try to fight them. Here's Eredin. I believe he's the king. Yeah. I'm the king of the Wild Hunt. Just skip to the bottom here a little bit, see if there's anything new. Trusting in his strength and magic, skill of his riders, Eredin boldly launched a frontal assault on Kaer Morhen. Despite the defenders' noble sacrifices, he came close to victory. Only Ciri's unleashed power forced Eredin to fall back. It was clear, however, that he would learn from this defeat, and that next attack would be insurmountable. You know, that sounds lovely. Geralt, but that's not really who we're looking for here. IMLERITH. Okay, so this is the guy we are fighting and who's, in theory, about to stab us in the back, or knock us on the back of the head with his ginormous mace. IMLERITH, a general of the Wild Hunt and a frequent guest in Geralt's nightmares. So it's actually IMLERITH that keeps showing up, not Eredin. Had been chasing Ciri for quite some time, striving to deliver him to his ruler, Eredin. Yeah, so IMLERITH is the one who's been most aggressively pursuing Ciri, I suppose. And only on that actual attack on Kaer Morhen did Eredin start taking a more direct role? Something like that? This powerful and brutal warrior had fought in countless battles and campaigns for conquest waged by the Onel in other worlds. He prized physical confrontation above all else, seeking out direct, bloody skirmishes where where opponents pit their strength, agility, and training against each other in a contest to the death. IMLERITH attacked Kaer Morhen along with the rest of the hunt. There, the Keep's defenders witnessed heart-wrenching proof of this warrior's dangerous might. Vesemir, who had spent most of his life with a sword in his hand, heroically stood to fight this foe, but, to everyone's great despair, was bested after a bloody and hard-fought confrontation and perished at this monster's hands. Regardless of race or birth, most warriors share common desires and delights. IMLERITH was no exception. Avlok informed Ciri that he was wont to wallow in corporeal pleasures, which is, what we were just seeing as we were coming up here, and would take advantage of his stay in our world to attend the CRONES Sabbath. So, we heard that Ciri really wanted to get revenge for killing Vesemir, and we did sort of deny her that by having Geralt go against IMLERITH because we thought that Geralt probably had a better chance, but hopefully that doesn't matter too much as long as we still get the job done here. But not really anything terribly telling. Just want to remember that, let's put on, I think, we're assuming he's an elf, even if he's not showing up in our bestiary. That probably means we're going for Hangman Venom for attack power versus non-humans. I mean, that's the closest thing I can think of that would apply. Because non-human would mean elf if he qualifies as a normal elf. Other potions? Let's see. Like, right now I think we have... Where's our cursor actually active? Here we have Killer Whale and White Honey, neither of which are relevant here. Definitely want to throw in some more combat-oriented ones here. Yeah, Accelerating Vitality Generation is great, but that's for each foe slain, so that's not really for boss fights. I think... Randomly selected Sign gets improved. Knockdown, Hypnosis, Stun, and Blindness. Like, this would be the way to counter his stun effects. Which, like I said, I do think is going to be a factor. I'm a little bit nervous about that. I imagine, like, right now he's about to stun us, and then we're going to get damaged pretty significantly. So that, and that, of course, I think for the most part is going to be what makes him challenging. He might have other special abilities that we've not yet seen. Wouldn't rule that out either, of course. Whenever a single hit drains more than a third of vitality, Quench Shield is activated, which protects against the next attack. I mean, if he hits hard enough to deal a third of our damage, or a third of our HP as damage, that could be very strong, just to prevent him from doing some quick combos to get us down quickly. But I don't know. I mean, if he doesn't deal a third of our HP, then, of course, this does absolutely nothing, so I'm not sure that's really a risk we want to take. Maximum vitality is increased with each foe killed. Lasts until meditates or fast travels. Again, not really good for a boss encounter, because there's only one enemy here, presumably. Maybe a few others, like the succubi, might appear at some point, but I don't know. Forktail. Finding various attacks, strong, fast signs grants a bonus that increases attack power for the next attack mounted or sign intensity for the next sign cast. So basically just keep on rotating between quick attack, strong attack, and all the different signs, and you'll get attack bonus. 50% is a ton. That is a lot. But that just feels like that's a little too gimmicky to be focusing on that during a dangerous boss encounter, because we're going to be focusing more on, like, oh, did I do a fast attack just then, or did I do a quick attack? Oh no, I need to do the other one now. And then when we're thinking about that, we're not thinking about dodging out of the way of his next attack and getting killed. So I think that's probably not something we want to mess around with here. If we want something that's a little more straightforward, each blow landed increases attack power until either the fight ends or damage, other than that from toxicity, is taken. Potentially, 1% increased attack power basically per attack until you take damage. If we're playing really defensively, then we might be able to make that work, but I don't think that's going to be... I don't think we're going to be able to get that to add up that much, so I don't love it. The sun intensity during cloudy weather, no idea if it's cloudy weather. All alchemy creations can be used one additional time. No? Thank you. Running, sprinting, jumping outside of combat is not relevant. Damage increase when vitality is at its maximum. I don't know how often that's going to be the case. Also, probably not something we want to use here. Amount of weight can carry, no, not relevant. Mounts never panic, not relevant. Critical hit chance, it's only 5%, but we are a very crit-oriented build. It's not a terrible idea. I just wish it was a little bit higher. Hard to get excited about 5%, right? Okay, that's a quest item. complete resistance to stagger and reduces the knockdown effect to stagger. So I actually don't know. Wait, stagger compared to... Is it stun? Knockdown, hypnosis, stun, and blindness. So stun and stagger are two different things. I actually don't know what the difference is. Like, I don't know... I was saying I was expecting for him to do a lot of stunning, but I don't actually know if what he's doing is technically stunning or technically staggering. So that's an interesting point, and does make me a little bit nervous about prioritizing that in that case, because we could potentially end up focusing on one of them and pick the wrong one, and end up doing nothing with our potion. Damage dealt to foes regenerates vitality. That does sound very helpful. Gives us a nice source of... it's a strong defensive flask, I would think. And it just says damage dealt, so I would think that would apply to both sword swings and ignis. Although I have to imagine we're going to deal the vast majority of our damage with sword and not with igni, but... Okay, Butcher's resistance to vitality depleting critical effects applied during combat. Level rises longer the effect is applied. Like, is he gonna hit us with bleed or poison? I don't know. Seems kind of unlikely. I don't think that's gonna be the main thing he's doing. Portion of the damage dealt to enemies is reflected back to the attacker. That's a little gimmicky, yes. It's basically like the damage alternative to this. This is the more defensive, this is the more offensive. I don't know, I think probably still prefer Ekimara. That might be the leading candidate right now. Alcohol adrenaline points are generated more quickly than normal until the first enemy attack, or successful enemy attack. Yeah, and I think all these ones that only activate, that only work until such and such happens, makes me nervous for what could be a very long fight. We want something that is pretty simple, straightforward, and will definitely last the entirety of the fight. Reverse decoction. I don't realize this does a bunch of different things to different types of enemies. Wait. Attack power versus specters. Resistance to a bunch of different types of... Okay. So it's actually a bunch of... Increases damage dealt and decreases damage taken against wraiths. Yeah, definitely... The emphasis is against specters and wraiths. But it does still have some nice defensive things there. 15% to basically everything. It's nothing to snuff at. Performing actions that consume stamina regenerates vitality. That actually can be, I think, crazy powerful if we go super aggressive on the signs. So that's a little gimmicky, yes, but might actually be a decent enough option. Regenerates vitality during and outside of combat. So that's a more straightforward version than the Ekimara decoction. I don't know if it's actually better. Oh, it's only 20 regeneration during combat, though. It's significantly worse in combat than it is out of combat. Might be reason enough to still prioritize Ekimara. Succubus attack power grows over the course of the fight until reaching maximum threshold. I like that a lot. Because this is something that, sure, it may start at 1%, but like I was saying, we want something that will last the duration of the fight, and nothing that's... We don't want things that are going to only work for a brief moment and then immediately go away. Like this one, over the course of a long fight, like this, it should start to get very powerful, I would think. You know, is it going to get all the way up to the 50% we were seeing on some other potions? Maybe not. But I think that probably deserves an inclusion, and then maybe Ekimara as well, although there's 70 toxicity apiece, I think. At least Ekimara is... Are you as well? You are. So we can only use one of them. We'd have to choose between the two of them. Also make sure that we're using... Yeah, some of these bombs that we like. Oh, we can't... Wait, hold on. Oh, no. Wasn't gonna use them now. I just want to switch over to a different kind. I do really like Northern Wind to slow people down with the freeze effect. Gives us the chance to play a little bit more, or defend more easily, and potentially sneak in a bunch of attacks. So I like this stuff here. Think we've got our setup. Oh, I mean, do we have any weapons we would swap over to? Let's just check if we need to repair anything, or if we would prefer to, say, swap over to Feline Sword. Definitely not this one. That's too much of a damage downgrade. Like, Ursine is small damage downgrade. Get more adrenaline points. Lose the sign intensity. Are we okay with that? think we might stick with Griffin. It's close, but I guess the little bit of extra damage is the tiebreaker. Assuming that none of our other relic swords are any better. I mean, we did have Chalmers' steel sword for a while, but losing 50 damage is a lot, even if it has a bunch less crit hit damage bonus. I actually don't know if this is going to be a steel sword or silver sword situation. See, this is fine. This silver does need a repair. So if it is silver, then we are going to want to do that right now. It's 30%, so that means let's throw on a couple of these. That should get us basically up to exactly 100. It will. And then armor. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. And you're fine for now, although you're low enough it might be worth throwing a quick 15% repair on you, because once we start taking a little bit of damage, I could see you dropping down. Trophy-wise, I don't think ever meant to be using that trophy. Not sure there's ever going to be, or not sure there is going to be something relevant here. It's going to make a difference directly in this fight. It's mostly relatively passive stuff. Where did our trophies go? Oh, we got rid of them all. They're like in our stash, or we sold them or something. Okay, so I suppose we will stick with our chance to dismember. Lovely. I suppose maybe we can just chop off his head and be done with it, but I'm doubtful that. Okay, I think we are done with all of our setup here, and that means just prepare to immediately dodge as soon as we unpause, because I think he's going to try to do that. I did dash, or did roll, but didn't really do anything. He still hit us. I would like to try to hit you with an Igni to lower your armor and whatnot. Did you block that? I can't tell. When you were all frozen and stuff, I don't know if that was actually meaning that you were slower than usual. You're gonna... Okay, I'd like to get a sense for what your abilities are. Like, do you have any ranged abilities? Whoa, you can do that! That is how you seem to appear behind us the first go-round. And that is, it would seem, what makes you go all ice mode. But I'd like to... Yeah, so that's the stun effect that I'm talking about. I don't know if that's technically stun or stagger. Okay, so like, you give that little sound. I'm trying to see if there's any like tells, any cues from when he does the teleport. Because that'd be really helpful to know that. Because he give that little grunts and then he does it. Doesn't seem like it. Okay, does he regenerate HP? I don't think so. I mean, we basically just hit him with an Igni and he's... we might have hit him with a few other attacks. So let's move in. We should also throw a Quen up. That's pretty important. We don't have the stamina for it yet, though. Yeah, we do. Okay. Oh, hello. Yeah. It's like, do you actually get slower when you do that? I'm not sure you do. Is there any incentive to make sure that you get de-iced by hitting you with an Igni? I don't know. Well, you actually, that was a bad idea. You get faster? What? When we get rid of the ice effect? I don't know. Your shield is humongous. Okay, we should try to, like... I'm not sure if Axie's really going to do much here, but... Do that to... Okay, it slowed you down, but that doesn't really do much here. Damage actually isn't so bad. What level is he? We don't actually know. We should also heal here, and then I didn't actually activate either our potions. Let's go Ekimara. This is the more defensive one. We'll keep it safe, basically. Try to play this patiently, and then let's go Northern Winds for if/when we do want to make that happen. We still have Quen on, we don't. I don't think we do. Now we do, okay. So, like, Axie was uninspiring. Is it worth trying to fit it in hard, see if we can do that to try to get around, trying to find a way to more easily get around your shield. That is a little bit difficult to make that work. You have big attacks like that, which I feel like just basically countering that might be the way to go. In fact, we might even try to do that here. Let's go for it. Let's throw Quen back on. And then I'm going to prep to do that. I did not expect you to teleport behind us, although that does seem like that might be the best time to counter you. Or, well, when you attack is key, but I just want to, like... do something along these lines. That was supposed to be a counterattack, but he seemed to kind of break through it. I don't know. Do another shot. Okay, that one I was late on. I'll give you that. I will give you that. That one, so I'm blocking, but it's still breaking through our Quen. That, to me, suggests that this is a bad idea to go that route. I think the answer is just wait for him to do his big combos like that. Yeah. And then jump in for a couple of attacks and leave it at that. So you basically bait him into his big combo. We've been able to hit him for a couple of Ignis here and there, or maybe, you know, you Igni and then sneak up behind him. We could hit him for more there. That might not be a bad idea. How long does Quen still have some time? Okay. If you do this, ooh, that missed. Ooh, yep, little dodge was not enough. We need to actually do a roll. That's also good to know. Yeah, just trying to kind of figure out what the deal is with them. Okay. Playing it patiently. But it seems like thus far, at least, hasn't been too much of an issue. Now, here's the north wind. Is it actually going to be enough to slow him down and make a difference here? Perhaps. That was probably the most damage we've been able to do thus far. We do have Quen down now, but I would like to seize this opportunity. Yeah. And we haven't tried whirling yet, but that has also been a great source of damage in the past. Like, if we could do that here, maybe? Wanted to, although maybe that's good enough. Did we have to? I tried to do it. I was holding the quick attack button, although Hero did not go for it. Not entirely sure why. Okay, that, oh, we beat him to the punch there with a quick attack. Yeah, it's like bait him into that combo and then try to sneak in and attack like that. Oh, now he's getting angry. Oh, he ditched the shield. Okay, I see. Now things are going to change a bit. Hello. Oh, now he's getting very aggressive. Extremely aggressive. Like, super duper aggressive. Okay. He's going to have, like, crazy long combos, it seems. Including teleportation. So that's concerning. Means we need to be very committed to dodging and whatnot. And when he does end the combo, it seems like he's down for a while. Though the question of when that is going to be is well, that's the real question. Thus far, even with this, hasn't done too much to us. Okay, get in. Ooh, oh, I tried to sneak in a strong attack, and that was a little too much in that case. Ooh, it hit us, and Quen is certainly down. I would like to do this, though. Yeah, like, but getting Quen back on now is a little bit tricky, because it's like, when do you do it? Kind of need to choose between Quen-ing and dealing damage. Oh, hold on. Come on, man, you got nothing on us. That's right.
Who taught you to fight like this?
Your mom. Ooh, that's pretty nasty. That's for Vesemir.